Okay, here we have Lucius Zoran, and I have no idea if I'm saying Lucius right. Hopefully I am. So we're calling him Zoran or Z because that's the easiest thing to roll off the tongue. And this is a really big, beautiful 5-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Icebox who is out of Pulpit, and he's also out of a Limehouse mare. And so this horse, I just think he's gorgeous. He has a beautiful head, a beautiful build. He sticks 16 two hands. He's a little bit thin right now, not terribly, but he's a really big boned horse. And so I just think that he's got a ton of filling out to do. And he's going to eventually reflect how big his structure is. It looks like he should really be a big, bulky horse as he fills out. He's also got these enormous, beautiful feet, and he's clearly been barefoot for quite some time, and he's very comfortable barefoot, and his feet are just gorgeous and they're massive. And so my farrier very much thought that he should remain barefoot, which I agree with because he feels perfectly comfortable and he has these big, beautiful feet. So this very rarely happens. So I've got a very comfortable barefoot horse here. So this is actually his third post-track ride. It's sort of comical. Billy actually did his first ride for me a couple of days ago. He was great. Obviously he went in Western Tack. We didn't take any video because we were just looking to see what he was going to be all about. And then I got on him yesterday thinking we would take video. Well, Billy had told me that he was quiet, but I did not realize how quiet was. And I got on yesterday and I didn't have spurs on because I just don't like to ride them the first time with spurs. I just want to start with a neutral slate and just see what they're all about. And then I can add things as needed. Well, clearly I needed spurs because I actually just could not make the horse move. We could do a slow trot with me huffing and puffing a lot because I was having to kick and cluck so much. And I actually just couldn't make him canter. It was sort of ridiculous. I mean, we would just do this sort of large, ridiculous trot and we would never reach the canter. So I'm sure it was comical for anyone who was there in person watching because I just could not make him move. So then today we came back and obviously I've added some spurs, which helped immensely. And I would strongly recommend using spurs if you are the person that brings this horse home because my goodness, he is quiet. I know he doesn't look like, excessively slow here, but that's because I've sort of like I've put on the spurs and I've like turned the throttle up to 10, like you must move forward. And so obviously he is, and he's very gorgeous when you do get him moving forward in front of your leg. And it's not like he does any of that, nappy horses are extremely unpleasant to ride when they're behind your leg and then they're trying to do stupid stuff. He's not like that. He's not nappy. He's not trying to do any ridiculous behind your leg stunts, nothing. He just literally was like a sloth creeping around the ring. It was sort of hilarious. Anyway, so today is obviously much, much improved, and I was very happy with the progress from yesterday to today. So this horse, I mean, I think he's absolutely beautiful. He makes a great shape. He's a little unsure about the contact. I just think that he's just not familiar with being asked to accept the contact in the way that I'm asking him to. So he gives me some really lovely stretches, like down this long side, for example. I think that's absolutely beautiful. I love where his frame is. And then sometimes I think most particularly when I'm sort of going by the gate short side, I lose a little bit of the straightness and I also lose a little bit of the impulsion as we're traveling away from the gate. And then that's where he tends to have his bobbles in the contact because I've lost the straightness and I've lost some of the forward. So then he gets a little bobbly up and down in the contact for a couple of steps. And then, as soon as I can fix the straightness, fix the forward, then he's right back there again. So, it's coming. It's obvious to me that, when he's got it, it's a really gorgeous picture. It feels fantastic. Okay, so here's our left lead canter. I know that that wasn't like the world's most amazing transition, but let me tell you, compared to yesterday when I actually just could not get him to canter, this is like a massive improvement. So I'm quite thrilled with the fact that we could actually just step into the canter today. And the horse has a phenomenal canter. I have him turned out in the field with Lord of Legends. And so I've seen them, canter around. And so I've known from the moment that I saw him out in the field that this horse has a phenomenal canter. It's just very balanced, very rocking horse. It really is very pleasant to sit on. So it was nice today that I could actually access the canter. and feel it for myself. And sort of similar to in the trot, he gives me some nice stretches where he is like right here. I think this is quite lovely. He's accepting the contact. He's starting to come round over his top line. And then in other moments, like here, he's a little up and down in the contact. We've just, for whatever reason, we're having a bobble. And so, it's just a typical green horse. And I think he's absolutely trending in the correct direction. But it's just going to take some time for him to fully figure it out 100%. And so I spent some time in half seat just trying to get him to accept, the contact from, the bit to my hand. And then once I felt like that was pretty good, then I added the seat. And so you can see here some bobbling with the seat aid added. But then here he comes through and he gives me some really nice, not even moments, some really nice, stretches around the ring. So like this is quite good. Up, then here we had a little bobble up, and then this is good again. So I'm really happy with him, actually. I think that it's going in the right direction and that his good moments are fantastic and that the bobbles are really not that bad. Okay, so now on to the right. A sort of hilarious thing actually happened during this ride. I think it was right around this part here. We were trotting to the right and I heard this sort of like screeching noise. Actually, really hilariously, I thought it was maybe Billy making some sort of weird noise from the middle of the ring trying to like cluck him to go forward. But I realized a moment later that it wasn't, that it was coming from above us. And it was so cool. There were these two bald eagle parents, and what I assume was their chick, their baby bald eagle behind them, and it was still in its like baby chick colors. It didn't have the white on the head and the tail, but clearly it was with the two mature bald eagles. So anyway, we stopped to watch that. It was very cool. So, and then we resumed once the eagle family had flown by, but it was pretty darn cool. So I really like this here. I think that's quite lovely. I'm a little on the fence about what bit I want to try on him next. So the right canter, again, obviously not a world beater canter transition, but, compared to yesterday when we could not actually find the canter, I'm happy. And there's simple solutions to things like this. We'll start adding in some poles and he'll just start to understand the aids more as he does this a couple of more times. But I'm not complaining. He's not doing anything wrong. It's literally just, training miles needed. And very similarly to the left, I mean, the canter is very even both ways. He actually really is just even in general. He doesn't have a strong preference for one direction versus the other. He bends quite easily both ways. He feels pretty much the same to me in the contact both ways, similar canter transition. So that is nice. He's very neutral. He doesn't have one side that's much stronger or weaker than the other. And here actually to the right, I spent more time sitting to the right just because I think this is the second time we were cantering, so I was just asking for a little bit more. And so here we're having a little bobble, a little conversation about accepting all the aids and coming through. And then he does, and he really gives me some nice stuff. And so here he's just saying, this is really hard. I'm getting sort of tired. So I got back into half seat because I'm like, you're right. You are getting tired. You've been a really good boy. And this horse has fantastic brakes. I mean, literally, that was just from me just taking my leg off. Just stop kicking for a second, and we've gone from cantering to halted in about 5 steps. So on the ground, Z is just exceptionally sweet. He's just like a big red baby. He just would like to get in your pocket if he could. He loves peppermints, loves getting a curry, getting all his bug bites scratched. He's just a very laid back, chill kind of dude. I think he has a great head. I love his facial expression. It's quite hilarious. He's just a good guy.